Are you in a relationship, or have you just come out of one that leaves you feeling lost in a whirlwind of confusion and helplessness? Have you tried to connect, share, or confront issues only to feel like your efforts vanish into thin air? When you love someone with an avoidant attachment style, it can feel like playing a game with unclear rules, a game full of complexities that sometimes makes you question yourself. Did I do something wrong? Their evasiveness, silence, or ambiguous words can leave you feeling utterly lost, like knocking on a door that never opens. Being with an avoidant person can distance you from your true self. I hope that in today's video I can help you rediscover that self. I hope you discover all the answers you seek, step into a place of freedom, and find peace. It may not be right now, but trust me, you can do it. So why do avoidant people behave this way? What games are they playing in the relationship, and what can you do to regain your own balance? Don't forget to like and subscribe to follow the journey of exploring psychology and finding true love. The games that avoidant people often play in love are not your typical games. They are psychological tactics aimed at dodging intimacy, responsibility, or conflict. They often choose to keep their distance and employ complex behaviors to shield themselves from the fear of getting hurt or feeling a loss of control. This can leave you, their partner, feeling confused and helpless, unsure of how to bridge the invisible gap they've created. These behaviors not only make you feel lost but also create ambiguity, causing you to doubt yourself and lose confidence. Gradually, you might realize that no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to break through their defensive walls. While you strive to build connection, they strive to remain detached, creating a tiring and vicious cycle. Understanding these games not only sheds light on the issue but also serves as the first step towards reclaiming your freedom and inner strength. Game 1. Blame shifting. One of the common games avoidant people play in relationships is blame shifting. This is their way of dodging personal responsibility by pushing their mistakes or failures onto others, making you feel like you're the source of all problems. This behavior not only causes hurt in the relationship but also creates a negative emotional loop where you constantly question and doubt yourself. Why do avoidant individuals choose to shift blame? The reason often stems from their deep-seated fear of criticism or feeling inadequate. They don't want to face their own shortcomings, so instead, they choose to shift that burden onto others. By blaming, they can maintain a sense of safety and avoid feelings of failure or shame. Example, Michael is emotionally avoidant and often dodges important conversations. One day, Michael forgets to book flight tickets for a trip they had planned long ago. When Sarah asks why, instead of admitting he forgot, Michael replies, "I'm sorry, I forgot. Work has been so hectic lately, you know how it is. If you had reminded me, I would have remembered." In this situation, Michael not only shifts his responsibility onto Sarah, but also makes her feel like she's at fault. This leaves Sarah feeling confused and wondering if she truly lacked in supporting Michael. In reality, Michael's action is a way for him to avoid admitting his carelessness. Blame shifting not only cracks the foundation of trust, but also creates a sense of helplessness in the partner. The person being blamed, like Sarah, may feel like they're not good enough or not trying hard enough, even though that's not true. This makes the relationship unhealthy and traps the avoidant person's partner in a cycle of disappointment and hurt. It's a toxic game that gradually erodes trust and love in the relationship. Game 2. The silent treatment. Besides blame shifting, the silent treatment is another game avoidant people often employ. When faced with problems or conflicts in the relationship, instead of communicating and seeking solutions, they choose silence as a way to escape the pressure. While silence might create a temporary sense of safety for them, for their partner, it's emotional punishment that leaves them feeling abandoned and lost. This behavior often stems from the fear of getting hurt or facing feelings of helplessness. Avoidant individuals often feel uncomfortable with emotional intimacy or worry that they can't control the situation. They choose silence because they feel it's the safest option, avoiding having to confront complex emotions or discuss sensitive issues. Example, let's go back to Sarah and Michael. After an unpleasant date night, Sarah wants to talk to Michael about how she feels. However, Michael chooses to remain silent. Sarah texts, "I'm sad that you seem distant tonight. Can we talk?" Michael doesn't reply. Sarah calls, Michael doesn't answer. The next day, Sarah continues to text and call, but Michael remains completely silent. A few days later, Michael reappears as if nothing happened. When Sarah asks about his silence, Michael simply says, "I needed some time for myself." Michael's silence leaves Sarah feeling hurt and confused. She doesn't understand what's happening and starts blaming herself. Michael, by disappearing, has avoided facing the problem and left Sarah to endure negative emotions alone. This is disrespectful behavior that causes deep wounds in the relationship. Do you see these signs in your partner? Are you still confused and searching for answers? If not, continue to explore the games I'm about to reveal. If yes, and your partner exhibits the signs I've mentioned, then you're on the right track. You're smart because your body is telling you to rely on your feelings and intuition, which allow you to sense their negative energy. Let's move on to the next game. Game 3. Deflection. When the conversation gets too heated and the avoidant person feels cornered, they'll employ another game, deflection. Instead of directly answering questions, addressing the issue, or admitting their mistakes, they'll skillfully redirect the conversation to a different topic, diverting your attention and ultimately evading responsibility. The purpose of this behavior is to avoid the discomfort and responsibility of resolving conflict, but the consequence is that their partner feels ignored or disrespected. They do this because they fear that facing their mistakes will make them lose face or control in the relationship. By shifting the conversation to another topic, they seek to maintain a sense of safety for themselves and avoid negative emotions they're not ready to confront. Example: imagine one evening, Sarah discovers that Michael lied to her about meeting an old friend. She feels hurt and wants Michael to explain. However, Michael uses the deflection tactic. Sarah, I just found out you lied to me about meeting Lisa. Can you explain this to me? Michael, oh, speaking of which, have you seen that new movie? I heard it's really good. Let's go see it this weekend. Shifts to a different topic. Sarah, Michael, I'm serious. We don't try to change the subject. Michael, I know, I'm sorry. But you seem to be getting irritated easily lately. Is something bothering you? Deflects by criticizing Sarah. In this example, Michael used two ways to deflect the conversation. First, he tried to distract Sarah by inviting her to the movies. Then, when Sarah wasn't fooled, he shifted to criticizing her, forcing her to focus on defending herself instead of the original issue. As a result, Michael succeeded in avoiding responsibility and leaving Sarah feeling confused and disappointed. The deflection game not only diminishes transparency in communication but also creates a sense of frustration and exhaustion for the partner. To deal with deflecting behavior, the person involved needs to set boundaries and firmly focus on the main issue. Remember that you are the one who decides your emotions. By setting boundaries with negative things, you will have a lighter and more peaceful life. Game 4. The Martyr. Another subtle game avoidant people often play is taking on the role of the martyr. They will constantly complain about the hardships and injustices they have to endure, painting a picture of themselves as a helpless victim of circumstances. The purpose of this game is to avoid responsibility, elicit pity, and make you feel guilty for making things difficult for them. This behavior often stems from deep insecurity and fear of failure. Instead of acknowledging responsibility or trying to solve the problem, they find it easier to portray themselves as a victim of circumstances. This not only helps them avoid judgment, but also shifts the focus of the conversation from the main issue to the sacrifice or hardship they are facing. As a result, you may feel pressured to protect or compensate for what they have gone through, even though the reality is not entirely as they describe. Example: your partner often forgets and fails to fulfill small commitments in the relationship, pre-made plans, or small tasks you ask for help with. Instead of fulfilling their commitment, she pretends to be caring and then apologizes to you, offering very convincing excuses for their mistakes, such as in the situation where you ask them to buy you a cup of coffee. They happily say they will buy it for you, but when they come home empty-handed, they start making excuses. You don't understand. I tried to balance love and work, but you see, everything seems to be against me. At that time, my boss suddenly called about a new project, so I forgot my promise to you. And then you give in to them, and they continue to do the same with other similar situations. The martyr tactic can create a sense of imbalance in the relationship. You may feel like you have to constantly carry or give in because of the sacrifices your partner claims to have endured. This not only reduces transparency but also makes the relationship unequal and difficult to maintain in the long run. Game 5. Confusion creation. When things seem to spiral out of their control, the avoidant person will unleash their final and most sophisticated game, confusion creation. They will deliberately create chaos, sow conflicting information, or unnecessarily complicate matters. The goal is to distract you, make you lose your bearings, and ultimately leave you too disoriented to focus on the main issue. When the issue becomes complex and ambiguous, the avoidant person feels they have the upper hand, because you can't find a clear solution. It also helps them avoid feeling pressured to admit mistakes or commit to change. By getting you caught up in unnecessary details, they can avoid direct conflict or maintain emotional distance. Sarah and Michael have another argument. This time it's because Michael spends more time playing video games than with Sarah. When Sarah tries to have a serious conversation, Michael uses the confusion creation tactic. Sarah: Michael, I feel neglected. You're always glued to that game console. Michael: I'm just trying to have some fun. You're overreacting. Sarah: No, I'm not. You promised to spend time with me, but you broke your promise. What do you know how that makes me feel? Michael: Oh God, not this again. I said I was sorry. Why do you keep bringing up the past? I'm tired of this. Creates feelings of frustration and exhaustion. Sarah: I'm not bringing up the past, I just want you to understand. Michael: Fine, if you want to break up, just say it. Don't beat around the bush. Says shocking things to distract. In this example, Michael used several ways to confuse Sarah. He denied her feelings, blamed her for overreacting, bringing up the past, and finally, even threatened to break up. All of this made Sarah feel overwhelmed, disoriented, and unable to continue the conversation. Michael once again succeeded in avoiding responsibility and controlling the situation. Dealing with this tactic requires you to stand your ground and focus on the core issue. Avoid getting caught up in the irrelevant details they bring up. Instead, remind them of the focus of the conversation and emphasize that you both need to work together to find a solution. A healthy relationship requires clarity and accountability from both sides, something you need to demand even when the other person tries to complicate things. When you love someone with an avoidant tendency, you may have experienced a myriad of emotions, from confusion and hurt to helplessness at not being able to connect with them the way you desire. But remember, feeling lost or doubting yourself is not a sign of weakness. It's simply proof that you've tried your best to love and connect, something not everyone has the courage to do. You are brave for facing difficult and uneasy emotions and not giving up on your journey to find balance and happiness. Whether you're still in the relationship or have stepped out of it, recognizing and understanding the games avoidant people often play is the first step to healing and regaining your inner strength. Remember that the healing journey doesn't come from changing others, but from within yourself. Ask yourself, what truly makes me happy? What do I need to do to feel completely loved? When you ask this question and start prioritizing yourself, you are moving closer to building a healthy relationship with others or with yourself. Don't forget that you deserve a transparent love where both sides are willing to communicate and take responsibility for their emotions. If your current relationship doesn't offer that, don't hesitate to let go to find peace and freedom for yourself. Thank you for joining me on this journey of exploring the psychology and behavior of avoidant people. I hope that what I've shared will help you gain clarity about your emotions and give you the motivation to walk the path of healing. Believe that, even though this journey may be difficult, you will find the true love and peace you deserve. Remember that every small step you take today will lead you to a brighter future. You are not alone. I wish you strength and happiness on your journey.